Georgia where President Lincoln's administration, Lincoln asked Congress for a day of remembrance, which is what we are honoring now, Memorial Day. And he got it. He also asked for something else later on that he also received. That was the place to bury the fallen. Throughout history, we've always had this ceremony, Memorial Day, and up to present time, we still have it at different times. Congress tried to change it 30, 40 years back and have it on a Monday, which is okay with most of the vets. But the only day that Congress has not been able to change is Veterans Day. That's still on November 11th. Now, we'll go now into our Congressional Medal of Honor, and then we'll go into a bio on our local hometown hero, Macario. Now, on the Congressional Medal of Honor, that's an award given by members of Congress that goes to a common soldier for an uncommon cause for their services above and beyond the call of duty. Now, the Medal of Honor gives the recipient certain privileges. One, that he can be saluted by a superior officer. Another one, he can wear the decoration around his neck other than his shoulders. And in contrast to customs, he or she may wear just civilian clothes. Now, in the bio of our local hometown hero, Macario Garcia, who was awarded the nation's highest award for his bravery, gallantry, and heroic action. That event took place on Monday, 27th November 1944. Look at the calendar. That's the Monday after Thanksgiving. For his action, he destroyed 2 enemy emplacements single-handed, allowing his company to advance after being with the backs to the wall. Now, history just indicates that took place on a Monday afternoon. Their company were called to a hill in the Hudson Forest outside a heavily wooded area in Rosso, Germany. That event took place on a certain date. The company received resistance from the enemy, and the local soldier took it upon himself to charge what some of them call it machine gun nest, which in most places accepted. And after that first fiasco, he received first aid treatment from his company, and minutes later, he was able to convince his captain, Tony Pizarro from New Jersey, that he could return to the front line, which he did moments later when the second machine gun nest opened fire, and again, the intrepid soldier did a deja vu. Now, this next part that I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you don't expect to get it in any kind of history book, because it's not. I got this direct from Macario about 2 years before he passed on, when he was talking to one of his fellow members, and he just mentioned it that on the second fiasco, after he pinpointed the enemy, since he had the radio, he immediately called for backup. And the gentleman asked him, "Why did you call for backup?" Well, I didn't think I was gonna be able to come out of that one alive. So that is part of the history that don't expect to find it in the history book. I got it direct from him. Now, after the second fiasco, he was, you could say heavily wounded because he never did return to the front line. Neither did his company meet any resistance throughout the afternoon. He was taken to the field hospital and on to Luxembourg for treatment. And by the end of the year, he was shipped to the continental U.S. for convalescence. And in the spring of 1945, while he was recuperating from a shell fracture that he received in the battlefield, he managed to take time off and apply for his U.S. citizenship because he was still an immigrant. Now, we know throughout life that sometimes we ask the good Lord for something and he don't answer your call immediately because he has something better for you at a later date. When he applied for his U.S. citizenship, following month he got a letter from Washington instructing him to report to the White House the following month so the President of the United States would have the distinguished honor and privilege and decorate Macario along with 27 other officers and enlisted. That ceremony took place in the east wing of the White House on Monday, 23rd day of August, 1945. Up to this date, is still known as mass declaration. No other time in U.S. history has that vast number of recipients been awarded the nation's highest award at any one time. In 2014, President Obama decorated 24 with the nation's highest award. But again, this is not the time to be decorating people. We need no more heroes. Our cemetery is full of them, and we ask the good Lord to send our men home. And I believe anybody that goes to the cemetery and visit the loved ones, we look across the horizon and we see nothing but white crosses. Now behind this cross lies a body of a soldier that he or she was willing to pay the ultimate sacrifice so this country in which we live, the U.S. of A., remains free and sovereign. After Macario was decorated on that day, 23rd day of August, 1945, you look at the calendar, it's exactly 2 weeks after the last drop of the A-bomb in Japan. It was on the 9th, 1914, if my math is right, it's 23rd, so put it right dead center. So we need to stay away from all those atomic weapons and ask the good Lord to kind of solve this problem before it gets any worse than what it is right now in Israel. Now, in Macario's life after being decorated, ran into an event there in the Oasis Cafe. It started all over a cup of coffee, and that's how it ended. The local community from Houston took this matter in their own hands. They put everything in their own hands and took it to Washington and came back with victory. That team was headed by John J. Herrera of Houston and his team. And I'll leave it at that. I will not mention any other attorneys because one time I did, and I left one attorney out, and then they asked me, well, what about this other attorney? Well, I said, from now on, you have to wait and listen to it and let them take care of it. I can only take it to a certain limit. But I do tell you that those team of attorneys, they came back with victory, and on one occasion that the LULAC was having a convention in Houston, I seen that picture a few times, and I just forgot to tell the gentleman that I like to have it. It's where Macario and J.J. Herrera and R.E. Smith are standing. And I asked him, well, I can't see why R.E. Smith attended this banquet. Yes. No need for these people here, I said it myself. He's in the oil business, ranching and cattle. And then one gentleman said, I can tell you what he was doing. R.E. Smith came and put a cashier's check on the table. He did say the extent of it, but I can't recall exactly, so I'll just leave it at that. He said that cashier's check is to help stimulate the cost, court cost of Macario's case. So you see where it came for people working with people, and this is how things took place after those events. Now, after those late 40s and up to the current time, we have had people here in the community who have come forward in all these cases and helped put things together. Back in 1980 and 81, we had this lady from Stafford, Anita Morales, Dona Vicenta's daughter. She had a fundraiser and to raise funds, put a tennis portrait in the courthouse. And it worked out pretty good because 12 years later, we had another event where this lady here from Sugar Land Mundo Avila's daughter worked with JP, the Dolphins. He said that he was president of the historic committee here in Fort Bend, and he couldn't find somebody where he could name a school or make a write-up on it until she told him, well, I know one that lives right here. His relatives live in Fort Bend County, Old Richmond Road across the street from my mother, and the rest is history, and that's how they got that school here in Sugar Land, that Garcia Middle School. Now, all this is just people working together, and at the end of the day, the good Lord blesses everybody. Now, on this bio on Macario Garcia, up to the present time, in the last 3 years, we had calls from the secretary here in Sugar Land that she knew some people had came before her and wanted to put a statue or anything of that nature here in the city of Sugar Land, either in the city hall or in the park, but still hasn't come through because they were falling apart. This lady that was spearheading that, she moved. 6 months later, the other lady took over, and she also moved because she got a better job somewhere else. So right now we're in the third stage, and I was just asked this morning by Macario's son that if I knew anybody this week that I would converse and ask him what the status on it. Well, I know one person that knows some people, but I can't guarantee you anything. Because the way things are coming nowadays, you have to have, you gotta know somebody. I'm not in that position. So that's where the situation started in the States right now. And if anybody wants to know any more info, I'll be willing to share my info with you. And that's how we move forward. We have talked to certain people here in the community, and they were willing to move forward and get some kind of monument or in his honor, because here in Sugar Land is where Macario military life started. He enlisted here in Sugar Land, and that's where his military life commenced, and then also is where it ended on that 24th of November, 72. Now, there's a lot of people here in the community who knew my family. Some of them probably knew them better than I did, because they're a whole lot older than me. But I go strictly by what all the info I get from Washington or gotten. I do not get my info from the internet. So I have people that come up with some kind of info and say, well, we just got it. Let me look at the dates. That's how I compare things. And we just go from that. And anybody that willing to share the info, I can share my info too with them. I have nothing to hide. And the only thing about it is, just like if you're going to print anything, I just like to look at the dates and go from there. Now, other than that, our current info that we have is that recently, I got this boy called me and told me that some artist wanted to make a coin, a memory coin the size of a silver dollar with his picture on it. And he did. This happened about 3 months ago, and then a couple of weeks later, he called me again and he told me that the artist had already made it, except he needed to send it to Washington for approval. And a week later, he called me again and said that the artist sent it to Washington for approval, but UPS lost it on the way. I still didn't tell another family members about it, because I just didn't know how to go about it. So I'm not going to stand there and talk to them and tell them a bunch of nothing. So I just wait till after that. So about a month ago, he called me and said that they found the coin, and they had only ordered 4 of them. And that's how it stands right now. There's no more coins made as of yet. And after that, they'll discuss the price on it. But as of right now, no price and no coins. It's just wait and wait. And that's about all the info I have on the bio on my brother Macario Garcia, WW2. Just like to thank the hosts here at 942 for letting us use their facilities. And also, this is not going to be the end of it. This is just a starting point of it. And I have to sign the sheet in front because I got some more events coming up. I'd like to have the one August 27th, that's the day of victory in Europe. This said and done, I yield my time to the Thanks each one of you.